Welcome back, everyone. My name is Steven Rodriguez. I am your true champion, and today I have for you guys my favorite black deck for the Digimon TCG as of set 2 Ultimate Power formats. But before I get started, I want to let you guys know that instead of doing one video every single week for the Digimon TCG, I'll be doing 2 videos starting next week for the Digimon TCG. I'll do everything from theories about the English release, to deck profiles, to gameplay demos, to tournament reports of any tournaments I take place in, and really whatever else I feel like. So, if you guys have any suggestions for videos you want to see, or suggestions on how to make these videos better for you guys, if you're a newer player for the Digimon TCG, or you're just getting really excited about the English release, what kind of information do you guys want to know? Let me know down in the comments below, or better yet, hop into my Twitch channel where I go live every Monday, Thursday, Friday. I do all kinds of things in just chatting, and I plan on doing a lot more things for this game in Tabletop Simulator, so definitely come stop by, ask your questions there, give me your recommendations there, and who knows, we could even play live and in person. So definitely be on the lookout for that, guys. Links to my Twitch down below. Alright, moving on to the actual deck that I'm going to be talking about today. As you can tell by the cards in front of me, is going to be a black Millenniumon deck, affectionately called Turbo Millenniumon. Now, even though that name isn't completely accurate because we're not like ramping into a Millenniumon, it's more like we're just efficiently playing one. Turbo Millenniumon is going to be the affectionate name for this deck because the idea is to build up a Millenniumon as efficiently and cheaply as possible, so that way you can get ahead of your opponent, or so you can respond to whatever your opponent does. Black isn't necessarily the best color in the game right now in terms of responding to what your opponent does, because there's not much removal, nor is there a lot of ways just to gain outright advantage, so it's hard for you just to have the tools necessary to actually respond to your opponent. But this kind of archetype allows you to have a really cool game plan slash potential response to really big plays your opponent might do. This deck is going to be very similar to the Omnimon Blue slash the Omnimon Red decks you guys might have seen. They're like a turbo deck or another efficient deck that tries to get that level 7 Omnimon in play, but this deck tries to focus on the other level 7 that exists, which is Millenniumon, who has a really cool effect to tuck Digimon or remove them, plus he has essentially 2 lives. So if your opponent ever does want to get rid of him, they need to use cards like Terror Cluster or Crocodile's Breath, because if they just destroy him slash delete him, he'll just come back. So that is going to be the main strategy of this deck, and the reason why we're using this strategy in black and not purple is because black has access to a lot of really powerful inheritable skills, and if your goal is to build or evolve into this really big powerful Digimon, having really powerful inheritable skills to support that Digimon is going to be super huge, because it makes him stronger slash makes him more pressuring against your opponent. This style of black was originally popularized by a young man named Benjamin, I think his name was, in Malaysia, I'm pretty sure, but basically it's going to be like the other black deck that exists in Digimon right now, and I would argue it's the stronger black deck, because unlike Black War Greymon, or sorry, War Greymon that is black, I should say, because it's the blocker reboot one, not an actual Black War Greymon, is going to be like the more aggressive archetype, the more like, let's just build a bunch of really strong Digimon and try and outpace our opponent by just having really good ways of dealing with them. But that deck falters really badly to removal. This deck, because it's so energy efficient, can kind of respond to the kinds of removal options your opponent might have. You can go a bit wider if you need to, and then build up taller as the game goes on to try and avoid like that kind of heavy of a play. Or you can just build a Millenniumon. If they use everything they have to remove it twice, just build it back up again and you're fine. So this deck has, I think, more options to dealing with removal slash just pressuring your opponent than, say, the Black War Greymon deck does. And I think Benjamin thought the same thing as well. So that's why I'm going to be showing you guys this deck today. If you guys are excited, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell for notifications so that way you guys know when my videos go live for you. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the actual deck list. Alright, starting off as always, we have our Digi-Eggs slash Digitama, depending on where you're playing from. We have 4 Kaporimon and 1 Sumemon. So, Kaporimon, he has a really handy inheritable skill of your turn. If this Digimon has Reboot, this Digimon gets power plus 1000 DP. Now, there's only 2 ways that we actually have Reboot in this deck. We have the Metal Greymon that has Reboot, and we have the Toy Agumon right here that gives Reboot as an inheritable skill. So, this enables us to give those Digimon plus 1000 DP, thus making them stronger against potential security checks that might kill them. We do play plus security attack in this deck, so being able to get more DP is always a nice safety thing in case you want to avoid dying and actually get those 2 checks in. Finally, rounding off, we have our Sumemon, whose ability is your turn. If you have a Digimon with the same name as this Digimon gets power plus 2,000 DP. Sumemon is really just here as a 5th Digi-Egg, but we do play lots of cards that are the same name and who knows, you could always get 2 Millenniumon in play and have Suimon be their egg for one of them and then just have it be a 15k swinging Millenniumon. That'd be pretty dope. It can hit an Omnimon, and then when they clash, he just comes back and the Omnimon doesn't. That's a really cool mechanic and interaction right there. So he does have his moments, but he's not the most consistent things. That's why he's only being played at 1, while Kapurimon is going to be our main Digi-Egg that we use. Hopefully, whenever the black starter deck comes out, we get a new Digi-Egg, and it's going to be actually way better. Alright, moving on to our level 3s. Now, the first thing I'm going to have you guys know about this deck before we continue is that we are playing 15 level 3s. In my opinion, that is like the higher echelon of numbers. Like once you hit like 15 or 16, those are like a lot of rookies you're playing. And the reason we're playing a lot of rookies is because unlike Omnimon Blue or even Omnimon Red, we don't really have a way to gain advantage or filter through our deck, because like it or not, we are going to be a piece deck. We have a really cool combo that we can achieve, and if we can dig through our deck and find those pieces faster, we can achieve our ultimate goal faster. So playing rookies is going to be our best way to make sure we have consistent turn 1s, as well as making sure that we have a lot of board that we can play, as well as just making sure that we can always evolve when we need to by hatching eggs. So 15 rookies, I stand by it. Starting off our 15 rookies, we have our Toy Agumon here, who, like I said earlier, has the inheritable skill of Reboot to give to the Digimon that evolves into him or evolves from him. So basically what Reboot does, if you guys did not know, is that it means you become active during your opponent's active phase. So after you swing, instead of waiting until your turn to become active or standing again, you do it during your opponent's turn. This enables you to dodge your opponent attacking you. If you have blocker, you become a Reboot blocker, so now you can attack and block. There's really a lot of cool combos you can make with this deck. It allows you to be aggressive / also defensive at the exact same time. Reboot is probably the best skill that Black has access to, and this deck does a good job of trying to utilize it in the best way possible, which is, I believe, via Millenniumon. I want you to imagine having a 13,000 DP Millenniumon that swings, hits a security, doesn't die, and then at the end of the turn becomes active again. So if your opponent wants to deal with that, they need to use a card like Akai's Breath or Terra Force, which means they need to sacrifice a lot of memory, and even if they do use a card like Terra Force, Millenniumon just comes back. So not only is he avoiding vengeance or being attacked by a stronger Digimon, he also just comes back if he ever is destroyed by other means. So Millenniumon plus Reboot is a very, very powerful thing. Up next, we have probably my second favorite rookie in this deck right now. We have Gatsumon, who's going to be a level 3 blocker. He's just like the level 4 blockers in that he has -2 memory when he attacks, but he is, like I said, a level 3, so he can actually be free to come into play if you evolve into him and then bring him up from the raising area, or he's just a 3-drop blocker, which is super cool. We do have ways to make this guy stronger. He's only 3,000 DP at the moment, but he could stop little chump blocks against like Rookie Rush, or just as a nice way to sort of add like some extra defense if you're low on security in the late game. Alright, rounding off our level 3s, we have our 4 Harugamon. These are the vanilla 2-drop 3,000 DP. These allow us to be memory efficient while also just maybe playing more cards from our hand to our board, / being another rookie we can evolve into on turn 1, so that way we can get that immediate draw from our deck and start filtering through and finding our pieces. And finally, we have the first of many promos that we play in this deck. We have the Caramon promo from the black and purple promo set, who has the really handy inheritable skill of during your opponent's turn, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP. So this allows us to sort of, if we don't have Reboot on our Toy Agumon, we have plus 1,000 DP. So our Digimon becomes stronger during our opponent's turn, thus they become harder to swing over. We do play blockers on level 4 and level 5, so that means we can have 6 or even 8k blockers, which are super big numbers if they want to respond to other level 4s / level 5s. He's not the most important rookie, given that he's still 3 cost and doesn't do the best for us. Like, he's a really bad card to hard play at the end of turn. I'd much rather play a card like Harugamon, pass over less memory to my opponent, and have a stronger DP Digimon. So that's why I'm not playing 4 of him. However, he is a very, very good card and can come in handy because he can make Millenniumon stronger. So if you ever play against other Millenniumons, they need to have some kind of power boost if they want to swing over you. That rounds off our level 3s. Let's begin our level 4s, starting with my favorite level 4 in the deck, the strongest one to evolve into, Greymon. So, we have this Greymon here. He has the really powerful and inheritable skill of your turn. If this Digimon has Reboot, it now gets jamming. So, imagine this. You have a Kapurimon, you have a Toy Agumon, and now you have a Greymon. You have guaranteed Reboot, and once you evolve again, you're going to have guaranteed jamming. So you have plus 1,000 DP, Reboot, and Jamming on whatever Digimon evolves onto these 3 cards. You can kind of see this like evolution path we have to sort of create a really powerful Mega / level 7 Digimon, and trust me, it'll just get more and more powerful as we go on. So I want you guys to keep this Greymon in your mind. He is a very important key piece to making the strongest level 6 and level 7 that we can in this deck. Moving on, we have the God Meme Millenniumon himself. It is nice to play Millenniumon seriously because he's actually a really good card in black right now. So the main aspect of this deck is going to be memory efficiency. And even though we don't have access to really cheap level 5s, we do have access to really cheap level 4s. So being able to evolve for 1 on a level 4 is very big, because if our opponent ever memory starves us at 1, we can still play this Millenniumon and then play an ultimate right after, drawing our 2 cards and still filtering and digging for our megas, and then on the next turn we can go Mega, and if we have enough memory, go into Millenniumon. So that's going to be the main idea. This card enables us to be as cheap as possible when trying to play our Millenniumon. Rounding off our level 4s, we have our 4 promo Crystallimon here. This is different than the one from the booster set 2. This card came out of the same pack as Caramon did, as well as the Diaboromon that we also use. And the reason why we're playing it is because it's actually a super cheap blocker to play at level 4. All the other ones that are -2 are 5 cost. This is a 4 cost, which is super nice, giving your opponent less memory if you ever have to hard cast it, / still being a 2 evolution cost is really huge. Sure, being only 5,000 DP is kind of a drag, but we do have cards like Caramon that we can evolve from, / Tie, which will actually increase your DP during your opponent's turn, so you can actually make this thing 6 or even 7, so you don't really care too much about that. He's really valuable for this deck right now. I think he's like the best blocker you can play. The next best thing you can have if you don't have these in the future is going to be Gardramon. He's a 7,000 DP blocker, but he can't attack, and that's not really the best thing in the world, because sometimes you have to attack with your blockers if you want to go for games, so having that option I think is really big. But if you ever want to tech in like 1 or 2 and like make it a 3rd Crystallimon, like cut one of the many Digimon that we play, by all means go ahead and do so. I think Crystallimon is the best option in this deck for defense, as well as just nice memory efficiency for defense. So that rounds off our level 4s. If you guys haven't taken note, we have 12 level 4s and 15 level 3s. Here's a little hint: we have 10 level 5s, and then we have 8 level 6s, and then we have 3 level 7s. This deck is literally all Digimon. We're playing no option cards outside of Tamers, and the reason for that is that all the black option cards suck. Atomic Ray, even though it's the best one, doesn't really do much for this deck because we're not playing War Greymon, so we actually can't get double security attacks against our opponent, so it's not the best for this deck. The D-Digivolve cards, while they are very fancy and very nice, is not how we control people. We use Millenniumon instead, and so we just don't play the option cards because they're bad. We'd rather just play more Digimon that we can constantly see, more cards that we can evolve into and evolve from, and then just dig through our deck for the pieces that we need. So, moving on, we have our level 5s. These are going to be our main level 5s right here. We have Metal Greymon and we have Infamon. Let me talk first about this Metal Greymon right here. He naturally has Reboot, super buff, super dope, and he has the amazing inheritable skill of your turn. If this Digimon has Reboot, security attack +1. So, let me paint you guys another picture here. We have Toyagumon as our level 1. We have Kaporimon as our level 0 or level 2. We have Greymon as our level 4, and now we have this as our level 5. So now we have +1 DP, Reboot, even though we already had it. We have Jamming, and eventually, once we evolve again, we're going to have security attack +1, which is super cool. So we have a Jamming 2 damage dude that restands at the end of the turn and cannot be attacked or revenged by your opponent's Digimon. Imagine that on a Digimon that cannot die like Millenniumon. That's going to be super huge. We'll talk more about it in a second. Moving on though, we have probably the spiciest card in this deck outside of the other promos that we're playing. This card, Infamon, as you can tell by his set code, is not actually a promo. This is the booster set Infamon, and he has the really handy skill of, during your turn, the cost to Digivolve this Digimon into a Diaboromon from your hand is reduced by 1. Thanks to this Infamon, we have access to Hyandramon as a 2 cost and Diaboromon as a 2 cost. This is the Diaboromon promo. He's a 3 cost Evo normally. Thanks to this card, he's actually a 2 cost. So if you ever evolve on Infamon, you evolve for 2 on both of your main megas. Finally, rounding off, we have our last 2 blockers in the deck. We have 2 level 5 Andromon blocker, 7,000 DP, 3 evolution cost. We rarely will play him for his actual cost of 7, but sometimes we do, depending on what our hand is and what our opponent played during their turn, because just dropping a 7000 DP blocker is actually super huge. Like, a lot of things cannot swing over this. If you ever get a tie-in play or have him evolve from a Caramon, he becomes super buff, which is awesome. This is a really good card to add to our defense. If you wanted to, you could play copies of Digimon instead of these cards, so you could have more powerful level 5s, because he's a 3-drop 9000 DP level 5, which is honestly super huge. The highest we get here is 7. Most of the time, once we evolve into Infamon, we never really attack with it until we become Mega again, which is kind of sad, because Black like favors being a bit more aggressive if it can be, but because we don't have any like plus DP during our turn effects on a lot of our Digimon, it's kind of scary to attack with these little level 5 dudes into security blindly, so you're almost always more comfortable to wait. But having more powerful cards like Digimon could make that a bit better, but for right now, I think the pure memory efficiency of Infamon is too valuable to not have right now. Alright, boys and girls, you've seen our level 3s, you've seen our level 4s, you've seen our level 5s. Let's talk about level 6s. I've talked a little bit about them already, but here are our main 8 level 6s. That's a lot actually for some decks. We have High Andromon. This is our generic 10k 2-cost evolution, 12k beat stick. Imagine a world where you have your Kaporimon, your Toyagumon, your Greymon, your Metal Greymon, and then this. This is a 2 security attack jamming rebooters, 13,000 DP. You swing with this boy at security, you check 2 cards. If you don't see any Terra Force or other BS cards like Kakai's Breath or Terra Cluster or whatever, this boy stays on the board and becomes active once again during your opponent's turn. And now if they want to get rid of it, they need to play a card like Terra Force or Kakai's Breath or whatever. And if they do that, because of how memory efficient you are with your cards, like Numamon, Infamon, and Diaboromon, you can easily build up another Mega, and then with that Mega, you can go into Millenniumon. This card, High Andromon, perfectly represents the idea of this deck. Really powerful, really efficient cards that we can supplement and make even more powerful / pressuring with the really powerful Black inheritable skills that we have. Finally, our last level 6 is going to be this Diaboromon here. I've kind of already mentioned him in like his main purpose in this deck, which is to be another 2-cost Black evolution thanks to our Infamon here, which is something other decks just don't have, which is super cool. But the other cool thing about this card is his effect. His main effect is your turn, security attack +1 for each Diaboromon you have. A quick distinction here. It says for each Diaboromon you have, not every other. So he does count himself, ladies and gentlemen, which means the second he comes into play, he is 2 damage whenever he swings, which is super cool. Now I want you to imagine a world where you don't have Infamon as your inheritable here. You paid 1 more memory, but because of that 1 more memory, you have 3 security attack. Because if you have this, and this, you have security attack +2, which means you're doing 3 damage, and you have jamming thanks to your Greymon, which is honestly insane. So that kind of just sheer aggression out of nowhere with jamming is unmatched by some other decks. And because of how energy efficient you are, you'd be surprised how often you can get this boy in play. Like if you don't care about jamming, you can have what, 0, 1, 3, 3. That's 7 memory over 2 turns. You could even still attack with him in the same turn. If you have memory to spare, you can then just go straight into a Millenniumon and like super punish your opponent. So thanks to this card, you have so many aggressive options in this deck on top of your memory efficient options, which is super huge. By the way, in case you guys are wondering, this is the promo Diaboromon, not the one from the main set. He comes in the same promo pack as Chrysalimon and Caramon. This card's really, really good. I'm so happy we're getting this card easier in English whenever it does come out. All right, let's finish this deck off right. We have the last 5 cards. We have our last Digimon, and our only non-Digimon cards are Tamers. So we have Millenniumon. This is the main card in the deck. I've talked so much about him. He has 6 Evo cost, 15 regular cost. We never play his regular cost, don't worry about it. He has 13,000 DP. We can make that stronger, which is nice. He has 2 main skills. When Digivolved, return 1 of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck. That Digimon's Digivolution sources are discarded, super good. If you respond to a Millenniumon with a Millenniumon, that's super huge because the Millenniumon does go away, it does not come back, because his second skill is when destroyed, if this Digimon had Digivolution sources, you may play it from the trash without paying the cost. So you're not actually destroying it, you're tucking it back to the deck and then you're discarding everything else. So Millenniumon against Millenniumon is actually a really cool matchup because like technically it's the person that plays Millenniumon first that might lose because they can get countered harder, which is kind of funny. So I've always said that Digimon is a game where you kind of just like make statements against your opponent, and if your opponent can't deal with it, then they lose. So you just go, I play Millenniumon. Can you deal with it? No, I win. Or they go, I play Omnimon. Well, guess what? I play Millenniumon. I get rid of your Omnimon and then I swing. So, haha, you know, like it's a big response game. Like, can you respond to whatever it is your opponent's doing? If the answer is yes, you might be winning that game. If the answer is no, you might be losing that game. And finally, rounding off, we do have our Tai Kamiya. This is going to be our memory efficient Tamer card. We don't want to be memory choked too badly, but luckily, if we ever do get this card out for free via his security skill, which is playing him without the cost, or we just hard play him early on in the game, he can translate into a lot of value for us because almost all of our evolutions are 3 or less. So it allows us to basically play 2 evolutions every single turn, guaranteed, no matter what our opponent does to us, which is super nice. And then his main skill is, of course, opponent's turn, all your black Digimon get power plus 1000 DP. So he does not work on Millenniumon, but he does work on all of our blockers, which are very, very nice. Making Gatsumon 4000 DP is low-key a super powerful play against like rookie rush decks because early on those vanilla rookies can't swing over him if you have that card in play, which is super nice. All right, guys, there you guys go. That is every single card in my current Turbo Millenniumon black deck. Huge shout out once again to Benjamin over in Malaysia for not only creating the deck, but then sharing it with the world because I love this strategy. I love this archetype. I think this is the best way to play black right now, and it is so much fun. Definitely give it a try for yourselves. If you guys have any questions about this deck that I have not answered already, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below, or just hop into my Twitch channel. I go live every Monday, Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m. PST in the mornings, and I do all kinds of things in just chatting, and I plan on doing more things for this game via TTS or just more general discussions about this game because it is getting an English release, and that is so hyped. So come, stop by, ask some questions, and hopefully get some live answers. Links to my Twitch down below. Now, with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and see what this deck can actually do in some games. It's my friend Ray's Oblivion, aka Rays_HMG. He's a fellow Digimon TCG content creator. I'll go ahead and leave links to his channel and stuff down below. Go check him out if you guys want to. I'll be using my Turbo Millenniumon black deck, like you guys know, to take him on right now. He rolled his dice. He rolled a 3. Let's see if we can beat that. I've got a 4, so I'll be going first. I'll wish him luck. Good luck, have fun, and the game is underway. We have a pretty decent opening hand. Got the clear path all the way up to Mega. I'm going to go ahead and get my first draw here. There's another Harugamon. I'm more than fine to give him just the 1 memory and play Numamon, as I do not have Toy Agumon, so there's no reason to waste my Greymon on a non-rebooter. And he's playing a green deck. He has revealed to us there is an Agumon and then an Argomon. Green can be a bit tough for black because our lack of removal can enable them to have some really powerful plays, especially if we give them too much memory. So let's try and not necessarily starve him per se, but try and hold back a bit as much as we can. Speaking of holding back a bit, there's no ultimates he can play for evolution cost 2, but there are ultimates he can play for evolution cost free thanks to download. So I'm gonna go ahead and just play Metal Greymon. He has no removal that he wants to probably use right now, so I'm more than happy just to spam this boy, get him in play, get that 2, and then pass the turn. On the next turn, I'll be able to evolve this Harugamon. I kind of play just playing it, but I get more value, I think, from drawing thanks to my hatch instead, so I'll go ahead and do that. Plus, all he has is a Woodmon. If he wants to evolve into a Ultimate, then swing, or get the free download and then into a Mega, because he knows I have no removal, but if he does that, I could probably Millenniumon it, so he's got to be careful, because he does know that I play my Millenniumon. He does know that I'm playing, like, cheap Megas and stuff, so I can get to Millenniumon pretty quickly if he gives me too much memory. He's gonna be, oh, for a second, I thought he was swinging for a second. No, he's gonna be using download, resting himself to get -3 on the evolution cost, thus making it free, like I said, and then he's gonna go straight into Hercules Kabuterimon for the 3 and only paying 1. Ooh, very good. He knows I have no memory gain, so I cannot actually evolve after he does that, so he'll be able to have this boy who can restand after he pays some memory, so this is actually gonna be super huge for him. I'm gonna do the conservative thing and just go for this high Andromon, evolve up to 1, pass it back over to him. Now, if he like goes for like some kind of crazy like Flower Cannon Terror Cluster, I can build all the way back up to Millenniumon, hopefully, if I see a Mega within my cards that I'll be drawing. So there's a Tanamon. As of right now, this thing has he gets 1, by the way, thanks to the, oh no, sorry, he already activated Argomon's effect. Good. He already activated the effect. Good, and there's Tanamon. Okay, yes, figured it out. I was like, where are we right now? That's the funny thing about TTS. You gotta be paying like eagle-eye attention. So I might be skipping on some commentary things. I do apologize. I'll try and make sure I take note and show you guys all the cards that are coming out in play. There's Kabuterimon, a really good inheritable skill for some extra power. His hand is getting very large thanks to all these Digivolutions and very light costs of cards, but he's going to be swinging at us. Let's see if he hits anything big. He does not. That's the one. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. He's got piercing. Yep, we're good. He does get to activate Argamon's effect if he wishes, and he doesn't, and he just goes straight for a Pinocchiomon, also known as a Puppetmon, and rests my boy, who does no longer get to come into play, which is kind of big. So let's see if we can respond in kind. I would love it if I could like get a Deobormon this turn. That would be just lovely. It would be just absolutely lovely. None, just a Gatsumon. Okay, so the best play I can make would be to play Millenniumon for the 6 to tuck this, draw a card. He forgot to do level 5 skill. No worries. Missed the trigger. That happens. Let's see. What's the move here? I don't want to give away too much, but not having a super cheap thing to do for 3 makes me sad, so I think I'll just play down. Playing Gatsumon seems bad, but playing Chrysalimon seems even worse because it just gives him so much memory. I'll go ahead and play the Chrysalimon, give him 4, because I want to keep the rookie for the draw next turn because I really want to see a Mega. Plus, he'll be able to use Puppetmon and gain some more memory, which makes my heart very sad, but it's okay. I've got a Millenniumon on board, and hopefully he'll be able to do some work for us. That's gonna be my main thing here. His hand is getting very large. He definitely will have a lot of options at hand. As of right now, this is 6, so I won't be playing around. Potentially 7 actually after he uses the Tanamon effect. So let's see what happens. Those like +1 DP effects, guys, they add up real quick. Definitely be on the lookout for those. He's gonna swing 6 at my face. Yeah. There's my Deobormon in the security, of course. He goes to 5. I'll go ahead and give it to him. I can now swing at this if I need to with my Millenniumon, so I will definitely be doing that if he doesn't just get any more fancy Pinocchiomon plays, which, given what he's doing, he doesn't have any, yay, but he's going very wide, which is very scary because I am playing black, and black is very afraid of people that go that wide. So I'm just going to immediately swing at Puppetmon, just no games. And these dudes are all pretty buff. I don't want to just give him a lot of things, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop down these because I want to potentially starve him at once, that way he can't use any, shenanigans with Flower Cannon, but also because I just want to make sure that I have this blocker in play to block anything that he wants to cheaply attack with / clear some board. If he wants to play 2 vanilla rookies, fine. I'll be playing 2 blockers that can stop them because I ain't playing no games when it comes to that wide board. Oh no, sir. Once I see a Deobormon, I can start hopefully getting some double security attacks through during his turn. That'd be very useful for us to catch up in the damage race here. But if he wants to start losing some of those rookies, by all means. Sadly, he does have access to cards like Vegiemon, which do have 6,000 DP and are 1-cost evolutions. Same goes for Kabuterimon, so we gotta watch out for that a little bit. And if he plays his cards right, Tentomon can actually rest my Gatsumon, so I gotta be careful. I've got to be very, very careful if he gets a 1-cost evolution and swings with it, because he can rest my blockers and then essentially swing for games. So we got to be careful. But that is the thing. And he just goes for the hard Mimi. Nice. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Let's get a draw for turn. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and swing with this first at his security. We're good. I would swing with Infamon, but Infamon is very, very weak, and so I do not feel safe doing that. So I'd rather just play a Chrysalimon and give him only 1 memory again, just trying to keep my board as wide as I can, looking out for numero uno, which is going to be my security. The more things I have in response to the amount of dudes he has is the best thing for us. Plus, I do get to go a little bit wide myself. Not the most aggressively wide board, mind you, because I won't be able to attack with all these blockers unless he gives me a lot of memory. Also, he needs to make sure that he goes to 3 thanks to Mimi. Not starving you that hard. I would have loved to have seen a freaking Mega there. A Mega there on top deck would have been delicious, because I would have been able to pay the 2 to evolve and then pay the 4, and then he'd still be at 3, but I get more value out of my turn. Would have been so lovely. Yeah, this is the hardest thing about black right now, is that there's no just like inherent draw power. So that's why playing like the 15 rookies is super huge, because they're the best way you have to filter through your deck and dig for the pieces you need. And there is, what does this do? One of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. Okay, so that's him, I assume. He gives us that, so I can still stand it though, so that's cool. Let's make sure. Millie, yeah? Gotta make sure you targeted Millenniumon. I'm assuming that's what we did. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I cannot attack with my Millenniumon this turn. So I'm just gonna cast the Tai Kamiya and pass it over to him, because now Gatsumon is 4,000 DP, and this shenanigan boy won't be able to work. So that makes my heart very happy. So now my Gatsumon is safe from those shenanigans. I give him as much memory as he would have gotten. I don't waste anything, and I don't attack because there's no point to. And he's just gonna hard cast that boy. Ooh, so that kind of shows off what his hand's going with there. I do have to be careful though. He does have access to some pierce things, so if he ever does get to like kill my stuff, he could get some value for it. So we do need to be a bit careful. And here we are again with the scenario of, I guess I can't do much, but please just give me a mega Rugamon. Not actually the worst thing I could have seen here. I can go for a nice at the faceplate. Good. Again, I do not feel comfortable just giving him all the value in the world, so we're just gonna play another blocker, boys. These are all 6k blockers though, so they're much stronger now, which is nice. But they can't, well, I guess I could stop this one, but he could go for a big mega play this turn, which I'm very scared about, depending on which mega it is. If it's Hercules Kabuterimon, that's a problem because he has Pierce, and he gets to attack twice. So I'll be very much in trouble. I do have 4 blockers though, but he has 5 rookies, so with the 2 Pierce attacks that he has access to, potentially, that could be very bad. But luckily though, he only has 3 memory. He needs 6 memory for that play to happen, so he's got to be very careful. He could cleverly though end his turn by leaving his boy standing, in which case I need to go for game. But if he doesn't play any blockers of his own, I can go for game. So he needs to be very careful here this turn. If he focuses too much on offense, he might lose because he doesn't have enough memory to actually utilize the full power of Hercules. But if he goes for pure defense, he might actually survive my next turn, which means he will be able just to kill me on the next turn of his own. So we gotta be a bit careful here. This lack of megas for my offensive pressure has been absolutely terrible. I think I've literally seen 1 mega this entire game, and that's my High Andromon here, which just hurts my heart. Yep, so there's the Hercules, like I said, but he has no way to get more memory, so even though he does get to attack with it once and get the 1 damage, I'm just not going to block it, because it has Pierce. There's no point in me blocking it. I take the damage anyway. And if he wants to pay the 3 memory, he can, but if he just attacks with the rest of the dudes, he doesn't actually win, because I have enough blockers for all the attacks, plus he needs 1 more to actually kill me, because it's not enough just to get rid of all my security. He must also attack me after clearing out that 5th security. So let's see what he chooses to do here. If I was him, I'd just play a blocker down and pass and hope it's enough to survive the turn, if I'm honest, but for some reason he's going up to 1. I don't know why. No, it's 3, because that's 3 evolution cost. I know, right? It's green having non-2 cost evos is weird, because they're all about efficiency when it comes to their evolution costs. Not these boys. These boys are the expensive boys. Him and Grand Kuwagamon are expensive to evolve because they have such aggressively powerful effects. I think same thing goes for Rust Tyrannomon as well. I think he's a 4 cost evo as well. But they have very powerful effects, so that's why. But cards like Titamon, no, those are cheap. And he's going to play the hard Agumon. Okay, so the question becomes, boys and girls, is do I have enough attacks to win this game? So I have the 3 attacks here, and then I have the 2 attacks with these. So unless we see a flower cannon here, we're looking good. So we're going to swing. Boom. No flower cannon. All right, we're going to swing. Boom. No flower cannon. We're going to swing. Boom. No flower cannon. Woo! That is a GG, boys. Now he does die, but it's still a GG. Good game there, Rays. Good game. There it was. There it was. The scary flower cannon. It was in his hand. Oh, I knew he had it. Let me guess. Mega? No, dude. Where were my megas? I swear. All right, we're gonna set up for a game 2, and I'll be right back, guys. All right, boys and girls, here we are setting up for game 2. The hardest part about TTS is getting the security laid down. My boy Rays has chosen to go first because he did lose that game, and we start our hand with 4 rookies. This isn't the worst thing in the world. Let's just get a lot of filter / board presence if we need it, but generally black is not about board presence by going wide, it's more about going tall, so I would rather see like champion plus ultimate plus rookie, but it's fine. He just hard plays the Mimi turn 1. I would not mind seeing a champion, so that way we can go all the way up in response to that. Oh, please draw Greymon, please draw Greymon, please draw Greymon. Oh my god, we drew Greymon. Can I get some hype in the comments, please? And thank you. That is the most amazing draw I've ever could have asked for. Let's be a bit smart here. I wish I had Harugamon, because I would have played Harugamon first, then obviously went for the evolution, but I can't do that. So instead, what I will do, I kind of want to be a bit smarter here about this, because just going for the hard 3 might be not smart, but getting this guy in play sooner rather than later just seems really a priority for me. So I will just go ahead and go for the middle Greymon, and he gets the 3 obviously on his turn, and I will draw for turn thanks to that effect. Okay, cool. So we can, yeah, so I made the right play here, because in case he wants to be like super passive here and not start attacking me, because he really shouldn't attack with his only dude in play. Just a hard play of a Kuwagamon. Oh chat, this is not good. This is not good for him, because we have the plays. Oh boy, we got jamming 3 security. I'm gonna say 3 jamming. Oh boy, that's a 3 jam swing right there, boys and girls. He has jamming thanks to Greymon, and he has reboot. Oh my goodness gracious. Whew. I'm just gonna go ahead, hard play this Gatsumon, give him his 3, and then pass it over. Thanks to reboot, we do restand. Oh my god, Diaboromon is coming for blood, boys and girls. This promo Diaboromon being the best +1 security attack in black right now is just so freaking strong. And I'm so happy that they got the announcement, as I told you guys earlier, about the promo packs for English. So it might be actually way easy to get these in real life. So I'm really looking forward to it when the English game comes out. This card's gonna be like legit amazing to use. We've got reboot jamming +2 security. Like, do I even need to become Millenniumon? I don't think so. But he does have the 3 memory though, so he can start doing some crazy stuff. He's going to Gatsumon, so that's a rest here. Swinging at it, bang. Oh, yeah, Agumon, not Agumon. Agumon, the words are the same. XD. His hand is sadly very dead, but we are abusing it, obviously. Because had we had that Gatsumon in play, he would have died, because we would have had enough attacks to win the game. Oh, I'm holding the whole thing. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to evolve into Toy Agumon. I'm going to draw my card. I'm going to swing. Oh wow, there was 5 rookies in there. There was 5 rookies in there. Are you serious? Yeah, these were all his security checks were 5 rookies, man. Oh, that hurts to see. But he had plenty in his hand still, so it's not like the worst thing in the world, but dang. Okay. So I'll play Numamon, gotta be memory efficient here, so I'm gonna pay the 1 to evolve, and then I'm gonna pay the 4 for Chrysalimon. He still gets 3 on his turn, but I get a more powerful unit than if I just played Gatsumon. So now it's his turn, thanks to reboot, I restand with Diaboromon, even if he has Puppetmon in his hand. Unless he has Puppetmon plus a blocker, I'll be able to use Numamon the God here to swing for game, because he is empty on the security check. So the wider I go, the more I win. He needs to go for like Puppetmon and Prey, but I'll have 2 attacks on him, so it'll be a pretty big Prey. He's gonna swing, yeah, he loses his boy. He's gonna swing, yeah, he loses his boy. There's the Harugumons. And we could swing, restand, swing again, that's great, but it's not enough to win the game. He needs 6 memory to actually attack 3 times with this boy, which is a lot, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. And there is that. He'll go to 1. Okay, you're gonna swing. Yeah, gonna swing at him. Then the pierce. I like it. Oh, boom. 12 to 10. He still gets jamming. He doesn't get jamming. The security still performs the security check, so he still gets bopped by High Andromon, which is sad. And then the Forbidden Temptation. That's the best he can do on Diaboromon, but we just come in and we swing with the God Numamon for the game. Oh, I am sorry, Rays. Dead hands happen, but you know what? The power of this Diaboromon legitimately carried us. Anyways, boys and girls, that was the Turbo Black Millenniumon deck in action. Let's go ahead and head over to Steven for an outro.